Hello, hello, and welcome so much. I appreciate you all being here and joining us again on that feeling of more. Super excited to have Maria here. Maria is a Reiki master teacher and in a variety of different modalities, as well as a transformational coach. I'm just so excited to have you here, my friend.
Thank you for having me here, Alanna. It's really nice to be here.
Hey, well, Marie's going to share a little of her story and tell us a little bit about her journey. She's also a spiritual entrepreneur who's gone through things as well, and that's the thing I love about this is getting to share the stories so people understand the journey, so you can see in other people's stories kind of a little of yourself in there, which I'm sure you'll come across as Maria shares her story. So feel free to tell us a little bit about you and where you started, how this started out for you, how you got to where you are today.
Well, I guess we can start at the beginning because I was born a sensitive kid, right? In
Mm-hmm.
quotation marks. So I kind of always stayed to myself. Didn't have too many friends, was kind of like the outcast, not black sheep of the family, but just people were tiptoed around me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things. And as I grew up, um, I obviously met a guy. I had a family, and then I realized through the 15 years of marriage that it wasn't working. And not because of not trying everything under the sun, but because their circumstances, right? So I throughout that journey too, I was listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks that I kind of got I did tap into Reiki through my brother that was learning Reiki at one time, and a little bit of hypnosis. Like he became quite tapped into the spiritual world, and I was listening in the background and I was attending, and then closer to the end of my marriage, I really got into meditation.
Mm.
So I've been meditating for the last 15 years, and it's really helped me tap into deep parts of me that I didn't think I could go to.
Right?
And this might be controversial, but sometimes you hit that beautiful meditation strive, and it feels better than sex. Sometimes you're like,
Uh,
"Woo," you're flying high.
I don't think that's
So
controversial at all. I feel like there's definitely times that we hit that bliss moment in
yeah.
there too, right?
Oh, it's like the universe is expressing themselves through you, and you're just
It's
every
beautiful.
piece of your body cell is tingling and wiggling. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So when the end of my marriage happened, I had left him. I had done therapy. I was on my own, but there was something else to heal. I just couldn't put my finger on it. I just didn't know what, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a friend of a friend was a Reiki master, and she's like, "I'm teaching Reiki. Would you like to learn?" I'm like, I would love to learn. So I started doing Reiki. And what Reiki does, like we all know, it comes in and it just kind of breaks you open and starts kind of shifting things within yourself and outside of yourself that you need to let go, you need to release, you need to grow and develop new ways to see and view yourself and the people around you, right?
Yeah. I love
So,
the way sorry, I just love the way you express that. And I know we've come across it when we've talked before, is that breaking you open? Because I really feel like I find sometimes it's a struggle to help people understand what Reiki is. And it's like you said, it's that kind of almost getting to that raw point,
mhm,
and in that breaking open, and in order to do that then we find the place to heal. Like you said, you've gone through the talk therapy, you've gone through all these other pieces, and sometimes there's just something else that we need to understand at a deeper level. And I find that's what Reiki does. Without needing to dig into the knowing of what it was, it gets right into that space where you can break open, where you can nurture that space and get that raw like part that you can't quite put your finger on. You know what I mean? What you'd said earlier.
yeah. I find that it builds momentum in that change, that wave, that it, and really raising your vibration. That's what it does,
Hmm.
right? Because when you connect to the Reiki master, they're at a certain vibration, and they're kind of talking you, coaxing you into elevating your vibration to that. And when you do that, there's things that can't no longer hold on to, like habits, people, behaviors, and you just change. You just shift and move and change. And sometimes it's lovely and it's like easy and flowing, and sometimes you're like holding on to your life. But
Tears in your
once
eyes
again,
and everything. Yeah.
yeah, once again. So, um, so I did that, and now like I said, I had Reiki one time before I actually started my Reiki training, and I remember being on her table because you learn the Reiki about Reiki and then you do a practicum, right? So she was showing us, and as soon as she put her hands on me, there was just this wave of release, and I obviously didn't have words or anything like it, but it was just like, this is exactly what I needed. Like my intuition had led me to a place where it's like, this is what I need. This is how I heal, kind of thing. So then I became a Reiki master. I took that year and a half to go through all 3 levels, and but I was so afraid as a healer because all my life the way I helped people was I took on their pain, or I took on their hurt, and I was like, well, I don't want to hurt me to help other people, right? There's got to be a better way. And through that, I was just starting in my 40s. I realized that, one of those things that the universe sends your way through Pinterest of all things.
Right.
It was a question goes, are you an empath? And I'm like, an empath? What's an empath, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked into it. I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm an empath. And it all of a sudden, I had a clear vision of my whole life. And it explained who I was. I was like, I'm not crazy. I'm not too sensitive. I'm just this. I'm an empath. I feel deeply. I sense deeply. I connect to people deeply. I can heal deeply. But how do I do it without hurting myself? So then it
Mm-hmm.
became a whole journey about becoming an empowered empath. Um, going to different coaches. One of my first coaches was Jared Wolf from YouTube, right? I was watching him
Right.
and I'm like, oh, I'm going to reach out. And which then he taught me I did my transformational coaching with him. And I opened up, right? Because I needed somebody to talk to about all these things I was feeling, the sensitivity. I didn't want to go to therapy because there was more things that I was seeing. I was tapping into spirit. I was sensing things within my body. I was um, I was discovering that I was a star seed. So I was like, there's things that you don't go to a therapist for because they're going to give you a pill and go, you're delusional. And I'm like, no, I don't think
Right.
I am. I just think I'm tapping
Well,
into something that nobody talks about, right?
it's bridging that gap, and that's why, like, literally why I started this podcast of like, we have these conversations that we're not like, things aren't normal in this aspect, and it's having that conversation with somebody that understands, which is why I love like, Reiki masters and healers and people what they do now is because this you have this conversation 10 years ago and it would have been like, you're nuts, here's the pill, like you
Yeah.
said. And it's having, and this is again why I started this podcast, to have these conversations so that other people can be like, wait, I'm not crazy. Here's a person I can go talk to, right? And this is the beauty of it. But I wanted to go back real quick to what you were saying about being an empath, because I think all of us along this journey at some point have done the same thing of like, I we didn't have those questions answered because as a child or as a teenager, nobody says, "Oh, you're an empath." I mean, maybe
Uh-huh.
now, but back then there was definitely nobody that gave you that direction, and that being that sensitive kid, which I think a lot of people of those of us in this field really have been. This is what leads us to this work is that space. And I came across, it was probably a year or two in my journey, and I came across this book called, I wrote it down, I had to go back and find it, but Sensitive is the New Strong by Anita Morjane. And very much the same thing of like, she was that guidance for me of like, and this is what it looks like. And you're like, and I was like, I had that whole moment you had with your coach of like, oh crap, like I am an empath, and no wonder I'm bringing all this stuff on. Now my life makes sense.
100%.
So I
Yeah.
love that perspective, and I think even just talking about what an empath is and bringing that, what does that look like and feel like? That's a whole other beautiful conversation. Yeah. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. For me, I started tapping into it. For me, was Judith Orloff. She
Mm.
has an empath survival guide book.
Yeah, same thing.
So I consumed everything she had on YouTube, and I was like, it just explained my life. It just explained why I felt so different, and people couldn't see the way I saw, and people couldn't. I remember growing up and going, why do you keep hurting each other? I don't
Hmm.
understand. Do you not see that you're hurting each other? Like, stop doing that. And I just couldn't understand how people couldn't see what I saw. and also why I also felt so deeply and got
Mm.
uh, um, and I was able to speak everybody's emotional language, but nobody was able to give me that space back, right? I always felt that's a space too that I felt very alone, right? Even now, it's as an empath, it's sometimes hard to find friends, right? Because you can hold space, hold space, hold space,
And it feels like
and
they're
then all of a
walking
sudden
over
you
you.
need space held.
Yeah.
And then people around you go, well, what do you mean? Like, I don't know what to do with you because everything is coming out, or you're like going, I just need to like put this down, and they're not able to hold it, right? So I've had a few relationships kind of fall apart because it wasn't a give and take, right?
Yeah. And I
But
love that perspective. And those that are listening in that are like feeling these, what, like resonating with what you're sharing of, giving and no take and like having the holding, because we definitely hold space for everyone. We try to, and that's one of our things that we need to work on is trying to hold space for everyone. But like you said, it's that when it comes to that point where we need that space held, we can't seem to find it. So having that community of people around is super powerful. But if you're resonating with any of the like giving and not receiving and the feeling of like, having to carry all this stuff and all of these things that you're sharing, maybe you are an empath. Maybe there's a question you need a little, rabbit hole you need to go down. Like I think we've
yeah,
done before too, right? So just as
yeah.
a thought.
Yeah, and do those silly questionnaires. Are you an empath? Whatever, because it will clarify things about you.
Hmm.
Like I said, I felt like such an outcast for so long, for most of my life. And then I realized, oh, well, I don't think or feel the same as other people. And that's okay. And then I realized what a superpower that was for me because I
Yes.
could tap into things that people weren't able to speak or even feel sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Because emotion, I say that empaths are emotional translators. We
Oh, I love
communicate
that.
in that vibration of emotion, right?
Hmm.
And not everybody speaks that language. So we are definitely needed in this space and time now, especially.
Yes.
And also for those people that also feel deeply, because I, as an empath, feel deeply, and I'm in emotion, and I like thrive in it, and I can help people with it. But then when it comes to myself, I lock myself up, right? So
Mhm.
it's learning how to feel other people's emotions. It's fine, but it's also understand how to feel your own and be
Yeah.
kind of that and transmute that and allow that and incorporate those feelings as well. That I'm just getting to that part of where it's like I'm allowing myself to feel those uncomfortable feelings like anger, fear, shame, guilt. That they're just helping me heal. It's not so much about living in them, but it's about transitioning through them. They're
Uh-huh.
supposed to be transitory, right?
Yeah. And I love that, like you said, that, and I feel like that's, well, not love, but like this is a very good point about the fact of feeling like those of us that are in this space or feel are empathic, that we do have this time where we do lock it up because we've tried to express it and nobody understood it. We tried to like you said, put it down or put it out and we have that when we're in that beginning stage of understanding or before we understand all of this, it's you have that moment where you're like, oh, nobody else is picking this up. Nobody else
Yeah.
is supporting me. Like, and then you do lock it up. So
Yeah.
it becomes a defense. Becomes an automatic response of I can't put it down. I can't give space for anyone else. I need to keep it to myself. So we do. I feel like that's a pattern that all of us kind of go through. Is that at some point we do. We have this experience where we try to give it away, and nobody's there to receive it, and it's like, okay, guess I need to hold on to this all by myself, and we lock ourselves up. And then
Yeah.
so I love that the second half of our life where we kind of are aware, we have the awareness of becoming an empath, and then listen, now you get to go through this journey of, like you said, it needs to be expressed, it needs to be felt, it needs to be gone through. No wonder some of us are holding on to this trauma, right?
Definitely. Yeah, and that's kind of when we start that hermiting phase, right? Where we just kind of cocoon and go, okay, let me lick my own wounds until I feel strong enough to kind of move forward. I don't know about you guys, but the last 3, 4 months have been like that very much for me. It's like even going shopping has been like it's too peoply. I need to be in my home.
Yep.
Like I just feel very overwhelmed, and I just think it's all the energies around us. But yeah,
Hmm.
so there's moments, and this is the beauty about learning what an empath is, because then you learn how to navigate, right, through
Yeah.
your emotions and how you're feeling, and then you feel okay not hanging around people. You
Yeah.
feel okay taking your time and only going out once a week instead of like every day, or like, you know, it's taking care of yourself, right? It's that mental
Mhm.
health, being mindful, loving who you are, supporting your gift. Because if you're overwhelmed and exhausted all the time, then you can't help anybody, right? So
Exactly.
so we can definitely circle back. I know we went on the tangent of
No,
empaths,
that's
but
good.
it's one of the topics. That's one of the things I help people with because, as you can see, I am still processing, learning, moving through it, understanding it deeply. Right.
Mhm. Well, and that's what
So
we do best is we go down that path first and then we help people along the way. That's
yeah, and that's the reason why I have my niches are so specific is because I've experienced these things, right?
Mhm.
So, um, with Reiki, what I do is I have the philosophy that I like to help people with shift their mind, body, and spirit, right?
Mm.
Align to their mind, body, and spirit, and I do that through the transformational coaching. I have a service that's called the Ultimate Experience, and then you get my
Ooh.
coaching, you get Reiki. So coaching is the mental emotional, the Reiki is the body and spirit, and then we kind of finish up with an oracle card just as a little last piece of advice that
Yeah.
helps them. And you get the full gambit. Like I have people who really make huge changes in their lives just by tapping in, right?
Hmm.
And I feel okay. Let me just get
So
back
we
to the
went to the
story.
point where no, that's good. So we're at the point where it's like you've gone through, you've become a Reiki master. I do have one question going back to that was what was the deciding factor of okay, so I had these beautiful Reiki experiences and then I became a Reiki master. So what was that transitional phase of like what made you want to become a Reiki master?
I just, I finally saw the benefits of my empathic powers, right? Like of what I actually am here to do. So, like everybody, we all struggle with our life purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a common Tuesday evening. I'm sitting on my kitchen table and I'm like, guides, God, universe, just, what is my purpose? I felt so lost because I'm like, I'm finding all these new things about me, but what is my purpose? How do I use it? And simply, there's a voice in my head, or just understanding is that you tap into people's soul's light and you shine that soul's light back to them. You see their
Yes.
true authentic self, and that's your purpose. That's your gift. Your gift is to go, don't worry about it. Look how beautiful you are. Look all the things you've accomplished. Look how far you've come. We can do this together. Let's go. Come on. You got the strength. Like I'm your cheerleader. I'm your mentor. I'm your co-pilot in shifting, moving, and healing. Right.
Yeah. No, and
So
that's what I'm trying to like, bring out in here is that like that feeling we go from that transition of, um, going along our journey as per normal, stuck in the day to day, the matrix type of thing, and then transitioning into that you had this other like the calling of that feeling of more of that what is my purpose, that understanding there's something else within you that needs to be expressed, and that's where it's like, oh, Reiki is the at this point, it's usually like I said, the gateway drug of like stepping into it, and then you had all these other modalities that you get into. So tell us a little more about what led you down that path.
well, what happened is the universe intervened in the sense of I was a bookkeeper for about 15 years and I was working for this company and I kind of got backstabbed, kind of like got pushed out gently, but it wasn't gently. And I was like, okay, universe, it's now or never. It's now. I either start it now or I don't. And I think that was the push that I got. And I started, and it was funny because I was starting to get busy, and it was that March break of 2020, and then all of a sudden COVID hit. I had
Mhm.
like the whole week I had full, and then all of a sudden that hit. So there was some stalling in there. There was some kind of growing slowly, but it was just the way it needed to happen. And then yeah, and then as you practice, as you have clients, as you grow, you just you embody that master energy in the sense of you tap into different things. So I really kind of evolved in tapping into past lives, and also psychically I can tap into different kind of psychic streams to help you kind of figure out where to go, or I can see some of the lines of where the potential of you're going to be ending up with.
Yep.
Um, also spirit has come in, so I can definitely hear, see, and talk to spirit. But it's not like a phone call. Or it's not like they just appear. It's sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
Um, and I can definitely sense guides, and I work a lot with gods and goddesses. Mary Magdalene has been a very good guide for me through my growth right from the beginning, and Mother Mary has been up with me more
Ooh,
lately.
you got some powerful people in your corner.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, and they just show up, right? They just show up, right? So, but just learning different aspects of me, uh, and it's just you just naturally grow and evolve, right? With all
Mhm.
um, transitions that are happening planetary and the sun and stuff like that, your energy just moves and shifts, and you just adapt and you learn.
100%.
um, so this tapping into my intuition has really helped me become a really good oracle reader, right?
Hmm.
So that's another thing that I love to do. It's just fun to tap
Yeah.
into. And I've had lots of people go, "Oh my God, the thing you said last week, blah 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 blah." I was like, "Oh great!" Like people actually call me and tell me when the things I've said are coming true, or they just kind of show up, which is nice, right? Nice
It's the
recognition.
validation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's validation that what I'm saying is resonating with them.
It's so funny. I had that experience once too. Well, more than once, but I mean, I had that experience where a friend of mine and I we went and facilitated at a retreat, and it was interesting that like we both did. Well, one of us did a session, the other person did Reiki to the group that we were with, and then when I did my session, she did the same. And it was funny. Not that we were comparing notes of people, but when we went back, it was like with this person, I had this. Then she's like, "Oh yeah, me too," and kind of just so we could best to figure out how to best support them. And anyway, it was really interesting to see like, oh, we had the same understanding and awareness, because like you said, sometimes it's really good to have that validation of like. And I came home and I expressed that to my partner, and he's like, well, of course this is what you do. I'm like, I know, but it's really nice sometimes to have that validation of like what I was feeling and understanding was exactly on, and somebody else agreed with it. So it's really interesting to have those moments of course it did, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I love working with other people, right? When I do house clearings, I love to bring a partner,
Mm-hmm.
because then you can bounce off like what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you need to clear, when it's cleared, and you tap in like, and everybody has their gift differently. So then you're
Exactly.
tapping into differently, but you kind of feel the same thing. So it's really good to have friends that have gifts and get validation that way as well. It's just fun. It's just
And
fun.
fun, and it's
Yeah.
so much. I find sometimes when you were doing that together, and that's kind of again why we're coming back to creating this collective of entrepreneurs coming together in the spiritual collective. If having that, when you have sessions together, it is, yes, each of us have our own unique aspect that we bring to the table, but it's also, I find, so much more powerful, and it's like bringing that light and making it brighter, right?
Yes,
I love that.
definitely. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. And the way I kind of grew with Reiki was I did my first master's, and then I think it was about 3 years later, I had a session. And somebody had done a Karuna Reiki with me. And Karuna Reiki, just to explain it a little bit, because it is a little bit different than Holy
Perfect.
Fire, it is, you get 13 more symbols, and it is more of an emotional base. It's about um, bringing in more light, more love. You just feel more bliss, and it is kind of more. I find it that emotionally it supports you much better, but at a higher level, right?
Mhm.
And she did the Karuna Reiki on me, and I didn't know that at that time. And I'm done, and I'm like, whatever you did with me, I need to know and learn, and like I just need to do it, because this is like I never felt like this before.
Mhm.
So then I went to the journey of doing the Holy Fire, because you need the Holy Fire master, yeah, to be a master in that. And then so with that, I did that within a year. And then I was ready for the Karuna Reiki. I was looking for a master. I was looking for a master, and I couldn't find one. For 2 years, I would Google and whatever. And then all of a sudden, I met somebody who goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna do Karuna Reiki, my master Karuna Reiki in 2 weeks." And I was like, "Oh my God, who's this person? How can I sign up?" And I was signed up within that 2 days. I was signed up, and I was taking, in 2 weeks, I was taking the Karuna Reiki, which is the person I met is Nancy, which we now have co-created a specific class called Chakra Insight, and we're
Ooh.
growing and developing that as well. So we've become really, really good friends, and and she's fantastic. And so that's how I became a Karuna Reiki and also became part of the GTA Reiki community. So I'm one of their teachers. So if you go on our website, you will see the classes I teach. You will see the classes for other people. That community is fantastic if you want to be part of souls that love and support. And that's just Reiki based, right? So
Yeah.
that's with Reiki healing. So
And for those that are listening that don't know what GTA is, it's the Greater Toronto Area. For those of us in Canada, we totally pick up on that. But anybody else will be like, "What's that?"
yes. Um, and then, yeah, it's just, I think it's GTAReiki.org or something like
Yeah.
that. So, and so I became part of this beautiful community that then I helped to develop courses and things like that. And just growing my business. Now I'm finding that now people are asking more for packages, like they're
Hmm.
willing to commit to a package healing or even coaching. I've been asked for a lot of those lately.
That's amazing. Well, and this is the space we're in. We're in this great transition or this unease of things, and people are looking for that support. And that's what I feel like over the last few months, like you said, a lot of us have been in this space as entrepreneurs or healers or whatever, is that we're in this space for the last little while, and we feel like, and I've said it, if you listen back to like stuff in November and October of last year, even September, it was like we're in this space of getting ready to be ready for what we're walking into right now, or there is a huge shift going on, and people are looking for that additional support, and people are understanding that there's more to it than just, you know, like there's energy to it, and they're just trying to, there's this awakening and everything, that people are opening up to this space. And like that's exactly what you're seeing the results of, right? Is this transition and people looking for that additional support that's not just one and done, because things don't stay that way.
Yeah.
And we're looking for more support in the world, first of all, generally speaking, in the collective, but also just further understanding. Then like we know we're shifting, I feel like, from that microwave, things need to be done in an instant type, knowing that it takes more than that. Do you know, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh, I love your being ready to be ready, getting ready to be ready. Yeah. No, that's exactly it. And it's funny because when you mentioned that, that's how I feel this last 8 years of my life have been. It's like I've been getting ready to be ready. Right. And
Hmm.
now I'm ready to help those souls. And that's what it is. It's like you get ready to help those souls that are coming along that need the help that you needed, back then.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I
That's why
find,
we went through this transition, like over the
right?
last 5, 6 years of like all the things that are
Yeah.
happening and all the shifts, and we become aware. And now it's like before we felt alone.
Yes.
And now there's this transition that's happening that people are searching for it en masse. And that's why we're here, right?
Yeah, and I'm finding that now the things that I've learned the last 6 months personally that I've grown and evolved with have very much been the collective. Like I've been
Yep.
tapping in, and other people are also processing these things, like mother wound. I would have
Mhm.
never thought I had a mother wound. My mom's freaking fantastic, but there's
Right?
things I'm telling you, like, as parents, we don't mean to screw our kids up, but we do it. Like we do it out of love. We do it because we just don't know any better. There are no
Exactly.
textbooks. There is no perfection in parenting. So you do your best. And I didn't think I had mother wounds, but I did. And let me tell you, shifting those have really shifted the way I talk to myself, I feel about myself, and also how I approach things,
Yeah.
which is huge. And like I
Hmm.
said, my mom was never super critical with me, but she was critical in other things, and I took on that criticism because I was an empath, for me to now having to be a certain thing. So, which
Well,
then, the way she was led me to meet a partner that kind of had the same, you know,
100%.
ideas. So it was funny. It's funny to kind of map up your life, map up out your life and go, oh,
And
that's
see the
why.
pattern.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see
Like
why I chose that.
I had the same transition myself over the last like month and a half, 2 months, like 3 months. Is like literally just at the end of December to January. I was like, holy crap, look at that. There's a pattern that is like, and like you said, I had a very similar experience of my mom, both my parents loved me. Somebody else told me when I took a course years ago, was like, you're either craving love from your mom or your dad. And I'm like, both of them loved me. But like you said, it's how we perceive it as a child. It has nothing to do with how they actually gave, like what they actually gave us. But there is also a transitional pattern, or sorry, generational pattern that has been instilled in them and instilled, like I could see this pattern from exactly how it's happened and how I feel it from because of my mom. And I like, cause we are, you know, in birth, we're technically, we were in our grandmother's womb, you know what I mean? That genetic piece. And that we, like, I could clearly see, oh, my mom and my grandmother having that pattern. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
interesting.
No, I get it because it's even then. Like I've been doing a little. I've been learning to do some tapping, to lose weight. Like I've been doing the Brittany Watkins tapping program, and it brings me all back to my childhood. And what has happened is a big thing for me, which once again, like you, I had two loving parents. You know, like we had our difficulties, but
Yeah.
and but the transition from my sister being born to me as a kid, I felt abandoned by my mom. My mom was there. She was a
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom. But my inner child felt that abandonment.
Yeah.
And for all these years, I was holding on to it, not realizing. Because you're right, it is, things get stuck in that mind, in that child's mind.
Yeah.
And as an adult, you look at it, it's like, well, that's ridiculous. Why would I feel that way? But
Right?
then you go back to your inner child and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you've been feeling this way and I haven't acknowledged it, right? So
Like I said,
even
we
that, like,
bury it. We kind of tick it in there. It's like, oh, well, everybody was, you know, everybody just deals with their struggles and their whatever. But when you acknowledge it, that's the healing piece. It's like when you get into the, oh, I see you.
yeah.
And I see why you felt that way.
And
And
the
it's
thing is,
okay.
yeah, and I think you made a good point is sometimes it's just the acknowledgement that it needs. And that's it. Like we think healing, and it's funny because I remember the way I was healing at the beginning of this journey to the way I heal now. The way I healed in the beginning was like it was a month that I was processing and suffering, and then it became a week. And then when something happened, it was a day or two I didn't feel great. And now I can transmute or integrate something within hours, right? Because I go, oh, I see you, I feel you. Okay, let's feel it, let's be there, let's acknowledge it. I know I'm gonna be okay. And then boom, like I could be
Round
kind of
it.
really distraught in the morning, but then in the afternoon can go along with my life and I have processed it. So it's huge how quickly we can learn to process that, right?
I love the way you said that too, of that it does take a little time. So for those that are listening that are like, oh my gosh, I've been in that, like, how can I get to that point where I'm like, I can transmute it in a day or I can feel better in that day? It does take time. Like, don't worry and stress about the fact that you're not there yet. It will happen of like, and use this as evidence of like, I have the same feeling of like it, when I first started this journey, it would take, I'd be in that mood or I'd be in that transition of like healing or feeling hurt or in that aspect for like months. It
Yeah.
felt like, right? And then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm in this depression and you give it all these words. But as you continue the journey, you will notice. And when you start utilizing the tools that you have access to, or connect with a mentor, connect with somebody that can help you with support you through that process, and utilize some of those tools that you're given, it becomes easier. And as you transition, as you grow and expand, like we have, and like I said, I'm not saying we're better than, it's just that we're further down the journey. And now, like you said, it's like, oh my gosh, I can figure this out. Like some days there's, and it depends on the situation. Can I
Yeah.
just say too that there's other times where it's like the same thing that you think you've healed, you have to re-heal. Like it's not re-healing, but it's like
Yeah,
every time
it's
you
an
transition,
onion. It's layers, right? Like you've gotten to a different layer of it. Yeah.
but it seems to be the same thing. And you're like, dang, I think I fixed this. I healed this part. I did what I needed to do here. But let grace be in that fact that you need to know that there's other layers of it. It's going to continue to be the same thing that
Yeah.
shows up every single time.
Well, the way I explained it is, first of all, I'm different than I was yesterday. I'm different than an hour ago. So you are in a different state, emotionally, physically, and mentally. So you are processing in a different way, and it is like the spirals of manifestation, right? You seem like you're going in a circle, but you're actually moving forward, moving up, right? So it's like a cone.
Yes.
So sometimes it looks like you're doing the same thing, but you're completely in a different level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just remember that, like the ogre, we have layers,
Yeah.
and like onions, we have layers, and then that we have to go through those, right? But that if it's coming forward though, don't look at it as, oh my God, I have to do this again. Be curious and go, okay, so what am I healing this time? Because there's aspects in different areas that last time you healed, but now they need to be looked at in a different way, right? Because you are different. And if it's coming up, it's because you're ready to look at it.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I love that. I say that all the time too, of like, it's only showing up because you're ready for the next understanding that you need to have, the next awareness that you need to have through it. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh,
And
this is
also everything that I've gone through, I know that at the moment it seems like it's the end of the world, but one of my favorite quotes is, I've survived 100% of my worst days.
yes. Oh, I love that.
So,
I love
so
that.
it's like you will get through it. Like it's there for you to look at, love it, accept it, and move through it gracefully or ungracefully. You know, sometimes healing is
Right?
ugly, but
Like
um,
that bad cry, like that ugly cry, you
uh,
know?
but ugly too in the sense of like the way you treat yourself, and then when the way you see yourself, and you're like, well, why am like as an empath too, I am super loving and caring, and I can take someone's story, no matter how ugly it is, and see the beauty in it. But then when I turn that mirror to myself, it's like, well, why are you still judging yourself about this other thing? Like that's kind of what I'm working on now. It's when I turn that mirror, is to be that loving, kind person, compassionate person to myself as well.
That's where we get to hold space for each other too, right? In this space of having somebody, like you said, having a partner, having somebody that you're connected with, someone that's in the same space that can help you through that process. Because
Yes.
we are really all great people, but we are the worst judges of ourselves, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're our worst enemies for sure. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And I find what I do, I think part of the magic that I hold is that I can hold space without judgment or criticism. Like, it doesn't matter what you did, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, let's look at it, let's unpack it, let's see the beauty in it, let's see the lesson, and let's move forward. Like, let's stop kind of hounding ourselves or bringing shame and guilt. It's just, it's done, it's past. Let's process it and let it go, say thank you, and move forward, right?
Oh, I love this. And I love the way you express that. And if anybody else is resonating with how Maria's expressing that and looking for that type of support, please, please, please reach out to her. She's such a beautiful soul. The links will be in the show notes, obviously. So feel free to reach out to her and all of her things. On that note, what are some ways people can get in touch with you?
Lots of different ways. So they can reach out through Instagram. So Instagram at guidance underscore within underscore Reiki. And that's my business name, Guidance Within Reiki. You can DM me, go look at all my posts. There's lots of lots of goodies in there. And I do a live every other Sunday. I do a Oracle reading live for free. So
On
come join
Instagram,
me.
was it? Sorry?
Instagram, yeah. So it's this. I have one this Sunday at 7:30. You can also reach me through email, which is guidancewithinreiki@gmail.com, or go visit my website at www.guidancewithinreiki.com. So
Fantastic.
that's how they can reach me.
Excellent. And you had mentioned about the chakra insight. Tell us a little more about that that's coming out.
Oh, definitely. So about 2 years ago, my friend and I, my co-creator Nancy and I, she wanted to her word of the year. She has this course every year that's called Word of the Year, and her word of the year that year was co-create, and she just wanted to co-create with somebody. So she looked at me. She's like, "I think I want to work with you." I'm like, "Okay." So we got together, and it just, I've had moments like this, but with her, it's constantly, when you meet somebody and just things flow and you're thinking the same thing, and she's adding and I'm adding, it's just a beautiful partnership. And we looked at chakras, and from that point on, it just kind of evolved where it's an 8-week online class where you deep dive into the chakras. So we teach you about the chakras, but it's more of a self-development course, right? So it is about you tapping into your own kind of past subconscious ideas, realigning to new beliefs. We give you tools on how to move, shift, and open your chakras through breath work, through movement, through affirmations, through even just some homework. And it's a group. Not only that, but it's a group. Um, so we kind of can share and express ourselves. I do card readings in the class as well. This year we're going to add some charm casting as well.
Ooh.
So we do get into the woo woo, and And then we also kind of offer, there's a draw at the end of each class where then Nancy and I, she offers online Reiki session, and I offer a full kind of oracle reading. So that's kind of extras as
Beautiful.
well. So you get a lot for for the class, and it is a 2 hour class every Tuesday for 8 weeks. But like I said, it's really good to work as you're getting into the nitty gritty. It's good to have that support and work with other people so they can share. In every class, we have a debrief of the previous class. So if you went through something and you want to share an experience and just need little support, we have that space for you as well. So
I love that.
it's awesome. And so we are kind of revamping, because we're going to call it Chakra Insight 6.0. We're revamping, kind of having a little new look for this year that's starting on April 8th. And then, but in September, we're going to do a level 2. So we're going to talk about the other 5 chakras. So it's going to be more of a upscale, definitely more woo-woo, more kind of into the meat of the spiritual world. And then we're going to have a 3rd level as well that we are kind of tapping into.
This sounds so fun. You're definitely gonna have to follow Maria on Instagram so you can keep an eye out on all of the things in April and September and those extra levels, because that's like, what the ascension that will happen through there is going to be so exciting.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah. Because I think even the third level, I think we're going to talk about the auric field and then deep dive into the color theory of things and just some other things.
So much fun. All
Yeah,
kinds of good stuff.
yeah.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you so much, Maria, for coming on. This conversation has been so beautiful.
It's been fun. I love this. This is kind of the I love it. It's a meat. It's delicious. It's so good.
Juicy deliciousness. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again so much. And again, follow Maria on all of her things. You find her links below. But definitely feel free to reach out if anything that she's spoken and shared that you feel aligned with. You just want to have a conversation. I'm sure she'd be more than happy to jump on a call and provide a little guidance or kind of give you some support. But then she also, like she said earlier, has some packages that will help support you in the long term as well, instead of just having that quick transition, but really supporting you along the way. So thank you so much for coming on, sharing your light, your love, and all of your good gifts and beautiful things.
Thank you so much for having me here, Alanna.
You're
Really
welcome so
appreciate it.
much. Thank you all for listening along, and we will see you next time. Have a beautiful day. Bye now.